Welcome, welcome, welcome. Whirlwind Friday.
Hello.
It's funny, we're like talking about the whirlwind, and we're creating one right
We just talked for 2 hours. I am all talked out.
now. We're on the heels of we're in a bit of a crunch this week. Jude's going out of town, leaving tomorrow, so we're a little behind on the podcast that we normally record on Thursdays, but we had a lot going on yesterday, so we crowbarred the podcast recording into today, and it literally just ended 15 minutes ago.
We said we're busy. We're not kidding. I barely had time to get a drink.
I know.
I did not fill up my water.
I literally ran the dog outside. I'm like, let's go. And I'm like, all right, you're done. Let's back in the house.
No, I'm not.
Let's go get that treat. Yeah, it should be okay. I walked her right before we did that, but my daughter just got her wisdom teeth pulled out today. Yeah,
I didn't know she was doing that.
Yeah, so I just ran out. I'm like, how did it go? Because my son had to take her because my wife went to she had to go in today to the city, so she took one car, and then I said tomorrow's like our whirlwind day. I can't go because it was scheduled for next week, and then at the last minute they said, hey, if you want to come in a week early, you can. So anyway,
how is she doing?
Well, she's on the couch, according to her. Not good.
Oh, it's not good right away.
Oh. Got the chipmunk cheeks and the ice packs and everything.
She's out of it though.
Yeah, it's a rough couple of days. I remember getting mine out. It was bad. It was not a great experience for sure, but I'm sure dentistry has come a long way in the last 25 years, 30 years, whatever it's been. Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, Hattie was out of it when a couple of years ago when I took her. She was for a while.
Yeah. Aiden said she was. I said, is she loopy? He said, to say the least. But now I think that's all. The loopiness is wearing off, and now it's just the misery of having to go through it. But
that's nice. He took her. Aww.
Yeah. He's good about just doing all that stuff. He had been helping me out all week. Just I don't know. I told you about
the moving experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then he called back. He's like, "Can you come back? Help organize." So we went back not the next night, but 2 nights later. And then while we were there, he's like, "Can you come back tomorrow and finish?" So then we went back another night to help finish. So
that's a lot.
They had a lot of stuff. So now we're gonna go help them tomorrow morning. She's like, she's like, my dad moved. Can you come help move some of his stuff? I'm like, sure, we can come help.
You've turned into a mover, a mom mover.
Yeah, it's all right. For one, it's a good workout. Geez, we're going up and down those stairs with a million boxes, which was great. And I got to say, I feel terrific. That after the first time we moved, my knee was a little sore, and I'm like, it lasted 2 days, and then it felt fine. After this next series of 2 days in a row that we moved them, I feel fine. No soreness, no nothing. I'm like,
that's because you've been doing your workouts.
Something's,
awesome.
Something's going right for sure. Because I expected just to be like achy and sore, but nothing. It's been great.
That's so funny because I know I feel so much better since doing the Oculus, and I kind of fell off track last week when Mom was here, so I'm not feeling so great. I don't know why. I just didn't do it because she was up early. We were making coffee, talking outside. I didn't do it. And that's how easy it is for me to fall off my workout schedule. It's like if I have any excuse, I'm not doing it. Oh, Mom's here. Blame Mom.
It does happen. But then it's just another thing to juggle, and it is hard to juggle a lot of stuff sometimes. It's like, all right, that can wait. But I also try to pepper it in with other stuff. It's like, but what else am I doing? So it's like, am I going to do the Oculus and go help move? No, I'm going to do one or the other in that regard. And then I walked one of the days, or whatever. But we also had a credit card compromised. Fraud on I saw fraud on our card. I had to cancel the card, but that was connected to the Oculus, and it's like your Oculus account, it's been canceled now because it didn't go through. So I'm like, all right, let me get this all straightened out anyway before we redo that. The TV, all the stuff that we have monthly charges on. But it's like the TV's out, the Oculus is out. It's like, what else is there? The Apple account's out.
Well, I did notice though. So my daughter, Hattie was wanting to do a workout in Orange Theory. I tried that years ago. That place is just moves too fast for me. I don't know if anybody out there has tried it. I loved it. I love the treadmill, the rowing. It was just too, it's like, do the treadmill. And then it's like, jump on the rower. Then we're like rowing. Now go to the weight.
You're on a circuit. Yeah, right.
Did you ever do it?
No, but I remember either you talking about it or hearing about it.
Gosh, you squeeze all this into an hour. And I just needed, like, I loved it all. If it was just a little bit slower pace, not rushing from one to the next. My body doesn't operate that quickly. So anyway, so my daughter was like, oh, they have a free month of June. So she signed up for it. And she's been going, that kid, she wants to get her workout and she gets up, she goes, and I can't even believe it. I thought she did it twice. She was showing me the other day, she did it like 6 times already in like a week and a half. She's done it 6 times and it shows like all the calories she's burned and where her heart level was, And then the other day, Frank decided to go for a run and he was like, yeah, I'm going to run to the lake. And he, because we haven't been exercising, we've just been working a lot and the weather was bad. We were just talking about this in the podcast. The weather was not great last week. And then he went for a run that day, just the other day. She got back from her workout. They both took showers. And I just noticed, I was, of course, in the kitchen cooking or doing dishes. And I noticed this energy that they both had. They were both so upbeat. Not that they're not. They usually are both upbeat, but just extra energy. Like, hey, what do we have for dinner? Like one of them was singing, one of them was dancing, one of them was doing something. And then they're like, let's go to this. I want Chipotle. And Frank's like, I'll go with you. She goes, well, one of you go with me. And I was like, well, I'm.
And you're like, doing dish.
Talk at the sink. And Frank's like, I'll go with you. And they both ran out the front door. And I was like, oh my God, that was so cute. Like, and then I'm like, the exercise, no wonder.
Yeah.
Imagine you get all those endorphins going, you take a hot shower, you come out, you feel great.
Yeah.
It's true. You just do. So I got to get back on that horse.
You know what else feels great? Sitting around drinking coffee.
I have not been exercising. I feel good because I've been sleeping, which has been great. I've been getting good sleep. So I don't feel terrible. I didn't get that sweat in, all week. Yeah. So I was getting in that zone of feeling it, but I got right out of it. So I got to get back in.
I got it at times, believe me. I was certain.
That's good.
Yeah. No, not only is it like it was cardio, it was lifting. We're lifting. They had, everything and whatever. If Tom or Masuda's watching, I doubt it. But in the end, it's like they had such heavy furniture. Everything is wood and thick and solid. And I'm just like, oh my God, they had 7 or 6 foot bookcases. They had 12 of them. And I'm thinking, where did you put all these bookcases that you had 12 bookcases? They're massive.
Wait.
But then it's like, okay, these all go downstairs. And it's like, okay, we got to maneuver these bookcases down that narrow stairway. There's like 15 stairs going downstairs. But I do enjoy that. One, it is a lot of, it's cardio, it's lifting, it's everything, it's kind of all combined. So I'm using my legs, I'm using my arms, I'm using, like we're getting everything around. And so it's like a full body workout, which is nice. And it was, we worked for like, 3 hours one day and 4 the next day or whatever. But
don't you wish you can see the calories you burned?
Yeah, that'd be great. And then like, unfortunately,
you can if you had an Apple Watch.
It all started with like, hey, can you help me just, do this one load? It's like, me and my son can knock that out in a half an hour. And then like 2.5 hours later, it's like, geez, I didn't realize it was going to be that much work. Can you come back tomorrow for an hour? It's like, It's going to have to be a little later in the day so I can get my stuff done. But yeah, it all worked out fine. I do.
That's nice though. You helped a neighbor.
Yeah, sure. It's all good.
Good Samaritan.
Of course. So this is week 1 of the 28-day. We'll just touch on that real quick. The 28-day Kickstart started on Monday, which is exciting.
Summer Sunshine Group.
Summer Sunshine Group, of course. So this will be the first weekend. I did make a post just about that. So yeah, the weekends are, you don't have to give things up. Just try to do a little extra planning. If you're going places, seeing what's people are eating, if you have to bring things like that. If you have to veer off of the 28-day plan, that's fine. You can pick right back up. Don't fall off and be like, all right, well, I blew it, so there's no point in doing any more of this. Things are going to happen. Things are going to come up. Try to plan as best as you can and work through the weekend, whether you're bringing food along with you or bringing, some components, a dressing or a sauce or something. If you're going to a barbecue, bringing a side that you can, that you can eat. easy to get through. Just a matter of a little bit of planning and prepping for it.
And there's always going to be something coming up. There's never a perfect time to start this. Think
Yeah.
about it. It's 28 days, so there's never a perfect time. And I know it's hard because it's summer, and it's like, oh, now it's summer, and I want to go out to dinner or go to a barbecue. I know, but then it'll be a holiday, then it'll be a birthday, then it's always going to be something. So you just have to start. You just have to start and just try your best. And like Phill said, hey, if you can't do it one night, then don't. You don't have to kill yourself over it, especially you Kickstarters. You're just learning how to do this, So just do your best. If you can order veggies off of a menu and they're oily veggies, then fine. If there's going to be a little cheese on something, you don't want to send it back, fine. You're just learning. I just do my best too. I mean, I do avoid, hopefully I always avoid the animal products, but the oil you can't avoid. And, sometimes we're just talking about Beyond Burgers. Sometimes I'll have one. Sometimes I'll have greasy popcorn. I don't know. I just do my best. So
on the heels of that, I was just a few people had hit me up that were they got the Kickstart, they were ready to go, and something comes up, and it's like, hey, I'm not going to be able to start. It happens every time we do a group.
Every time, yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, people have to do what they have to do. They said, hey, are you going to do another group? And I'm like, we might do them once a month. We haven't locked into anything yet. We haven't done them in a few months. We got a lot going on now. So I said the next one will probably be in a month. And I look on the date, and of course, like the first Monday in July is 4th of July. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to start
on Monday?
Day 1, 4th of July. Ironically, that is my day. Like that is
your
the day
start
I started.
Yeah.
So that'll be my 4-year anniversary of going plant-based.
Very brave of you to start on the 4th.
Well, at the time, I know you probably don't remember, but my wife and the kids were still out of town that day. So I had come home, or I'm sorry, my wife was. The kids came home with me. So we really didn't have a lot planned, for the 4th. So it's like, I just wanted to get started. And it's like, we just got back from that vacation. And it was like, it doesn't matter, 4th of July or not. Let's start. But I didn't want to start other people on that day. So the next group, if we do the next group, it'll probably be the week, that Monday after anyway. But we'll make all those announcements and everything.
Okay. All right, good. That'll be our next group, like the second week of July.
Yeah. So
it's so fun having the group back because it's all new energy, new people, new questions. It's really great. I just forgot how much I missed it because we decided not to do groups for a while just because, we just have to build it up so we can find the people really to build up big enough groups. So
there was a lot going on, and we got the podcast rolling. We were in Florida. There was a lot going on. It wasn't just that.
Still a lot going on. Yeah, that's true.
But it is fun. It's fun seeing people's photos, and that's just, there's a lot of people in the group, and that's why it's like, post photos, people, come on, ask questions. I do get a lot of like direct messages, and if you do message me directly, I'll answer. I have no problem answering, but always try to gear it to the group because then more people will see your answer. And it may relate to them. I say that all the time. So but it is great. There's a lot of activity. Even with that Beyond Burger thing.
Yeah, I saw that. A lot of people commented.
People weigh in on it. It's just
a lot of people have opinion. It's nice to see all those opinions. Yeah. And it's also nice for me to see people like discovering the nacho crema or like the new foods. It's like, wow, I love this. Like that is so satisfying for me. It's like, wow, they're discovering something new they're always going to use now.
Also with the meal planners, we'll poke in and sometimes it's someone new or a name I recognize, but they'll say like, oh yeah, I just tried that. It's like, oh yeah, that's one of the meal planners too. Like I forget who's too. I can't keep, you can't keep track of everybody. There's just no way. But in the end, just like seeing if you are a meal planner, post those photos. If you're making other stuff, it doesn't have to be the new stuff all the time either. Like if you're making past recipes, you inspire other people to make things, or people can hear your opinion on that particular thing that no one may have ever posted about yet.
I love seeing the old meals pop up.
Yeah. So it's fun having people there. So welcome. If you're a 28-day Kickstarter, that's great. Week 1's almost up. You got a few more days, and week 1's under your belt. Things get easier as you go, and you pick up more tips and tricks and tools and recipes and the whole thing. So it's all a learning process. So stick with it. Excited to have everyone here. Meal planners. Today's always a big day. It's the Friday, meal plan release. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
So we're getting that all done. There was, so just before we start, there was an issue just with one of the items today. So if you are a meal planner, you probably already have seen what's there. You may have to refresh your screen. There was an error on one of the pages. If you happen to catch it during the time that there was the error, it may cache your file, and when you go back, it may be there. Just refresh the page, and it should come right back up. There was a small problem with it.
And I got a few messages about it. It must have been some kind of a glitch. I was having problems with it this morning too.
So if you do have a problem with it and you refresh your page, maybe open another browser and see. If you're still having an issue, let me know, because I go to the page now and it's fine. Judi went, it's fine. So it seems like it's fine. I can pull it up from different browsers. But if you are having an issue, I just want to make sure we know about it if you've tried those things. So give that a try first and let me know.
It was the ketchup. So can we talk about the ketchup first?
Well, no, let's go through it.
Okay.
We'll start at the top. I got everything already over. Don't throw it
okay.
In here.
All right. Got shot down on that.
We'll get to everything. In fact, we're going to get to that last now.
I know. I just saw it's last in our list.
We'll start with the loaded Greek fries. That's pretty.
Look at that. Look at that plate of deliciousness. There's a lot going on with these fries. So first thing is we have a brand new Greek seasoning, which if you've made our aioli before, we have a spicy aioli. Basically, it's our aioli, which is like a blank canvas. And so we made a Greek seasoning that we season the fries with. So first of all, the Greek seasoning alone is delicious. You don't need any oil, obviously. And we make these little, because this is more like a plate you eat with a fork, but you're probably going to want to pick up some and dunk it into the aioli. But anyway, you eat it with a fork. So we use yellow potatoes. What are they called? Yukon Gold. Yellow potatoes. Yeah. Or I think they're the same thing, or either or. And then they're always a little bit small. So you want to get, they're like this big. So your fries are tinier, so it's easier to eat rather than the big russet long ones. So buy those. Plus they're creamy and delicious. They're like my favorite potato. So you start with those, slice them into fries. If you don't know how to cut fries, we have culinary school on the site. Go to culinary school. Phil and I recorded this years ago, but it's me cutting fries and him filming me. So it's helpful though, because they're quick. They're not like a big lesson. They're just quick with music. It's like 10 seconds or 20 seconds, but you just see how to do it really quickly. If you don't know how to cut fries, once you learn and practice, then you can cut fries and it's easier, not just winging it, cutting big chunks. The idea is you want them sort of, pretty much uniformly cut so they cook evenly. So they don't have to be perfect, but if you at least attempt to make them the same size, it's better. So go to that video and have a look at that. And then we just mix the fries with the seasoning and they just coat them so nicely. It's really nice. And then you just bake them on your parchment paper or silicone baking mat. And they come out really nice and crispy. You flip them once, and since they're so little, it's kind of hard to it's painstaking to flip each one with your fingers, plus they're hot. So I just use like a spatula and flip and, kind of toss them up with your hands, flip them over. You don't have to be perfect. We just want to kind of crisp up the other side. So 20 minutes on the first side, flip them over, maybe 10, 15, depending on how crispy you like them. I like them a little crispy, but just keep peeking on them so they don't get too crispy. And then we make the Greek aioli from the same seasoning. So you make one batch of seasoning and then you make the fries with it and you add it to the aioli. So we make the aioli base. If you made it before, that's already delicious. Put in this Greek seasoning, which is like dill and oregano and garlic and onion. And then we blend it all together, take it out of the blender, and we add fresh dill. That is the key. Then you put that in. You don't blend that in or it will turn green. So you put that in a bowl, add the fresh dill, and it is so good. I know, Phil, you're on a dill kick.
I know, man. That dill.
I love that
fresh dill. I never really made a lot with dill. There's a couple of things here and there I would make, but now I love it, man.
Well, that really adds something to that aioli. So don't skip that step. And then we just pretty much, there's one little secret sneaky step that we do because it was Frank's idea. Because the first time I made him, I didn't do this. And he said, they're just missing that something that you get when you get Greek fries. And I said, well, aren't they typically cooked with like chicken and all the fat and all that? And they are, I think. But he said, yeah, but they're like, those like salt and vinegar fries. They're like something vinegary. He's like, why don't we sprinkle vinegar on it? And I was like, that is such a great idea. We don't need like a marinade. All it needed was a tiny spritz of vinegar. So I used white balsamic vinegar. And so if you just, I don't have a bottle here, but if you just like pick up your bottle and put your fingers over the opening like that, and then just, kind of spritz it around. That's my B12. And then just give it a little spritz, and it just gives it like a nice zing, and it gets them a tiny bit soggy, which is kind of nice. I like it. You don't have to do that step because that aioli is killer, so you don't need that step, but I like that little bit of zing in the fries. And then, you just drizzle your aioli over the top, and then we put like all these tangy things on it, sort of like Greek style, the peppercini, the Kalamata olives. And what we do first, which I forgot to mention, is make the almond feta. And this is such a nice dish for that. And I don't know if anybody's made this. It's been on the site forever. It is so good. I love it in my Greek salads that I make, just with all the same stuff. It tastes like feta. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's not exactly, but it tastes very, very close to feta. And it just is like the finishing touch on these fries with that tangy feta style cheese. And that just gets crumbled. It's so easy to make. It sounds, again, like another thing that just sounds like now I have to make a cheese. And just take some time on Sunday and make it. And it's not hard. It's basically almond flour and like 7 or 8 spices. You put it in your food processor, process it, make a little patty, and put it in the oven. That's it. It's really not hard. It's just like a mental thing. Like, I'm making cheese. It's like me. That's what I do. But just do it on Sunday. It'll take you 20 minutes. And then you just keep it in your fridge. And then when it's time to make your fries, you just crumble it up. Make a little bowl of the crumbles and then crumble it on top.
I know we talk about just the way different people eat. I know we talk about our kids. They eat, one thing at a time, and just a kind of I shouldn't say strange. It's just different than how I eat. But this is like my kind of meal. Like I like, even like with the nachos, I know that conversation, I was kind of joking around with a few people. Like, I just put everything in the center and just kind of dig at it with the thing.
Me too.
My wife is, she is the, I want, the chip, and then the dollop of guacamole, and then a dollop of salsa, and then an olive, and then an onion. And, so it's like everyone has exactly the same thing. I like a mix. I like kind of a mishmash, and I like different bites have different tastes, and you have a little bit more olive on this one and a little bit, more cheese on that one, or whatever that is. Like, I love, like, even the shawarma loaded fries that we have are awesome. The loaded nachos. I don't know. I just like that whole mix of a lot of different stuff.
It's almost the excitement. You never know what you're going to get. And then
that's what I said. Every bite is different. I get a different bite.
You get that Kalamata olive. You're like, oh, yum. And then you get a crunchy cucumber. Peppercini, yum.
But then as I eat, and I do this a lot, where I try to get the best bite last. And it's like, okay, I got the peppercini and the olive. And then like I'll put together like that last bite and have like, leave with that the best bite last.
Oh my God.
But I do love this kind of meal, like the loaded fries. I mean, again, that was something I never really made before. I never really had a dish of loaded fries, chili cheese fries or something like that. I've had, but like having it as like a main meal like that, I really enjoy it. It's different than having like a dinner with a potato. It's all incorporated together in the meal.
Kelly said, "Can't wait to try this! Yay! I can't wait for you to try it." I can't wait for you to try it and tell us about it, hopefully.
And I am a big fan of like having like just different stuff. So you get like, you get some, the fresh cucumber taste, and you get the tangy olive, and you have a little bit of spicy peppercini, and just, again, a lot of different things going on. The cheese, the feta cheese, all that stuff.
It's all layered, and it starts with the fries, where we layer it with the seasoning, because the seasoning is good. So when you start with a great seasoning, I'm telling you, I took those fries out of the oven, and I have to measure things. I have to make sure. Well, I guess not with this one. I didn't really have to measure, but kind of. But like, I can't eat half the plate of fries out of the oven. I won't know all the measurements, But it's hard, because those fries came out. I was like, they're so good. These fries alone with the seasoning are delicious. So how could it not be good when you layer the aioli and all these crunchy, tangy toppings?
Right.
So good.
Delish. I'm getting now. We've gone through lunch here. Now, of course, I'm starving. Nothing planned.
You didn't get a snack in between? I ran down there and got a snack.
I ran and got. My wife had some okra, dried okra. So I had a couple pieces of dried okra.
Ooh.
I'm like, it's gonna be on my tea. Like green okra. I'm gonna go back and do the live. It look horrible. I double check just to make sure. All righty. So got anything else on this one?
I think I already said eat it with a fork, but I serve it with more aioli. You'll have leftover aioli, so serve it with that on the side because you'll definitely want to drizzle more on and dunk your fries into it. That's the fun part too. You eat it with the fork, but you can't help using your hands. It's just it's a fun, and look at how beautiful it is. Yeah, serve it with all the extra aioli on the side. I like to sprinkle the seasoning. You'll have a tiny bit of seasoning left. Unfortunately, you could make a double batch if you want to keep it, but give it a whirl first to see if you like it. I think you will. But you only have a tiny bit remaining, so I just kind of sprinkled it on the top of my fries. But I think that's it. Anything else we want to say about that? Don't forget the fresh dill. Really makes it. And those pepperoncini, you can buy them whole and slice them, or just buy them sliced in water. They're in water. The Kalamata olives are in water.
They have a little kick to them, but they're not super spicy.
And then the English cucumber I like because it's not super watery, so it's nice. I cut them in fourths. The first time I made these, I sliced them in half, like half moon. Mm-hmm. But Frank doesn't like anything too big, putting in his mouth like big chunks of things. So I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty, but it's not pleasant. Let's just make it more pleasant. So I cut him in, I diced him the next time, and it worked out. I like it like that.
Awesome.
So that's nice and delicious.
So this is just the seasoning for the fries. I put them in order of how they were used. So we'll go through just that's
Greek seasoning. And it's literally like 6 ingredients, but when you mix them together in this ratio, it's Greek seasoning.
So we do, some of these components are standalone. So this can be used in different stuff. This can be sprinkled on your salad. It could be, used in other dressings. It could be used obviously on the fries. So if we feel that it can be used again, we put it out there, especially spice blends. Like everyone spends a lot of money on spice blends. I know we've talked about it with a couple of the other ones that we have, but it's so true. Everything bagel seasoning, you can go buy a $6 bottle of bagel seasoning or whatever it is, right. Or you can just make it with stuff you have in your, on your counter or in your pantry, and it's just as good. So we have some standalone components as well. And sometimes if we don't feel they're going to be used, sometimes they'll just be incorporated with that recipe, and we don't have it as a standalone.
And then think about this. Wait. The Greek seasoning, I was just looking it up. Yeah, so you can buy Greek seasoning. So I'm looking at them on Amazon. They're like $11, $6, $4, $8. But you already have these in your pantry. I mean, it's literally what I just mentioned, 6 spices. So why not they're already there. Just mix them together and make your own, and who knows? I didn't read the ingredients. You don't know what's involved in that.
Even if you're missing just one of those things and it costs you $4, then you have, rather than just having one bottle of seasoning, you have another seasoning and you can make it for free and still have extra seasoning.
Exactly. And it's still all the same stuff, but now you have a Greek seasoning. So I just saved my leftover spice jars. I need a new method. I still haven't done this. I mentioned this before. I need wide mouth jars. If anyone has them, knows where to buy them, but I haven't researched. I haven't looked on Amazon. I need to overhaul my spice rack, my spice cabinet, because I can't get my measuring spoons in them. So I'm a little bit frustrated because I do remember when I thought Mom took my bowls. I found them.
Accused mother of stealing your things.
She neatly stacked them in the back. I found them. I have all my little tiny glass measuring bowls. I call them measuring bowls, just tiny little, very durable bowls, and I love them. I use them all day long. But I heard her counting them. She organized them and she put them somewhere, and I couldn't find them. So I was cooking all day and I was using all these random bowls. So I was like, where did she put them? Oh no, she recycled them on accident. I had all sorts of scenarios built up in my head. And then I moved a glass and I saw them all neatly stacked right where they should have been. I don't know how I missed them. Sorry, Mom. But that's not the best method. I need to find spice jars that are glass, that are wide, that I could just get my measuring spoon in, and I'm going to clearly label them and then just keep refilling them. So if anybody has a tip for me, let me know, because I'm going to be on the hunt for those this summer. Yeah, so it's great. You just mix them together, 6 spices, label it Greek seasoning, and there you have it. And we're going to be using this again. We just created it, but it's going to pop up on something.
That's part of the whole idea, is creating things that you can use. And now we're starting to see more and more of that. And it's awesome just seeing people kind of mix and match, or, hey, I tried this sauce.
Yeah, I love that.
Spices with this. And that not only kind of shows other people how you're utilizing the plan, but it also inspires us. It's happened already where someone's like, oh, I added this to this. And Judi and I get together like, man, that's a great idea. We should make a recipe built around that concept. So it inspires everybody, including us.
Yeah, I love seeing that.
Post away. So this is the aioli that goes along with those nachos. So or the nachos, the loaded fries, the Greek fries.
Yummy. And you just dip your fries right in there, and then you'll have, if you have leftovers, like we're saying, drizzle it on anything. It's good, really good.
And then the sloppy Giuseppe.
I hope others think it's as cute as we do. Sloppy Giuseppe. Sloppy Joe's little Italian cousin.
So thanks to Frank, came up with the name. I just was going to call it Italian Sloppy Joe's, but yeah, Frank came up with that name, Sloppy Giuseppe, which is awesome. It's hilarious.
It's so cute, and it is. It's like his sloppy little cousin, because he doesn't taste like a sloppy Joe, but it's just as sloppy.
Wait a minute, I'm the littlest cousin that we have.
You're Italian. What can we say? You're little.
You are Sloppy Giuseppe.
You're not sloppy seconds. Anyway, it's so delicious, the sandwich, and this is a Sloppy Phill special. Phill came up with it. And again, it's just taking an idea with the Sloppy Joe that we all know and love, and our Sloppy Joe, our plant-based Sloppy Joe on the site, so delicious. My daughter loves them. She requests them. Just taking that idea and making all new flavors with it. So he came up with a new sauce. You could talk about this one.
So yeah, and it's kind of loosely based on the bolognese. I use the Italian sausage crumbles all the time, and just that combination with this Italian sausage and the mushrooms together with kind of the red gravy that we use. So I just kind of created a little bit different gravy around that concept of the meat and the mushrooms. And, again, just added a little bit of an Italian, flair to it with the almond parm, with the basil, with some spices that are in there. It's just, again, a different sandwich. And I'm sure I've had a gravy sandwich 1,000 times in my life where it's like, there's nothing to eat. There's leftover bread and there's leftover gravy. Let's make a sandwich out of it.
It's like a thick meat gravy sandwich, right?
Right, grows off of that. So, just again, a little something different rather than just having sloppy joes. I know, like my kids like this idea with the gravy, like a meat and mushroom gravy, where they're not big fans of sloppy joes, but like this they will have. So it's like just something a little different was just enough different to have them be like, oh yeah, I'll eat those.
But also, we keep getting the feedback that people want simple, 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 and like you guys maybe have been seeing it in the Facebook group. People say that, like, it's just a lot of cooking sometimes. And we also are trying to be mindful that we don't want to overwhelm you. I mean, you can always save recipes, but, there are a handful of recipes, like you're making your own tamales, you're making your own tortillas, making your own seitan roast. It can be a lot. And I know we think like people who join the meal plan are a little bit more experienced. They're not like Kickstarters who are just learning. So we do that sometimes, but we also want to give you simpler recipes like this one, which are just, like we said, the components. That's why we're there. So you can mix and match, and we're doing the same things, but maybe you would never have thought of this. Now he came up with this sauce. I think you also use fire roasted tomatoes, but like, say you already made the Italian style crumbles a lot, and you take Phil's tips because you listen to him. He does a double batch every time he makes them. You're making one batch, you might as well make two. And then he puts it in the freezer. So you might have the crumbles already in your freezer. You might have buns from a barbecue. And it's like, oh my gosh, all I have to do is whip up that sauce. I know I could make the almond parm quickly. It's just get these ideas on your radar. Take the crumbles, make a quick sauce. And then like the almond parm, we sprinkle it on top. We add some to the gravy because it really flavors the gravy nicely. And then we put a giant, like a generous amount on top. And then look at those fresh basil ribbons. The whole thing together is just so delicious. I mean, it's like so good. And that's when you start to see, like, this doesn't have to be hard. This could be things I have on hand. That sauce comes together in 30 minutes, while I'm prepping everything else. So easy.
You have some leftover provolone sauce, you can drizzle that on top. We had talked about possibly adding it, and the sandwich is good on its own. So it's like, well, why add the extra component if you have extra time and you want? And again, that provolone cheese sauce isn't hard to make. It'll take another maybe 10 minutes. Yeah, if you like cheesy sandwiches or you like cheesy meat sandwiches, you can drizzle that on as well, mix and match or whatever, or even the pepper jack would be good.
The pepper jack would be good too. Yeah, the sandwich doesn't need it. We toyed with that, but it really doesn't, especially with that sprinkle of almond parm. It doesn't need it, but if you have some, try it. It still would be delicious, I think.
Yeah, I think the provolone on there would be really good, but right, just another thing to make, and it's like, all right, well, why add it on if you don't have to?
Right. We just want to try to keep them a little bit more simple. If they're delicious, we're going to stop. Like, it's already delicious. We don't have to keep going. But the one thing I do want to mention with this one is you should, if you make your crumbles early, keep the crumbles and the sauce separate. Now, we had these the next day and the next day and the next day. It's still really, really good. But I always want you to have it the best you can the first time. So if you keep the crumbles separate from the sauce, don't mix them together if you're not making them right away, because then your crumbles stay nice and crispy and chewy. So what you want to do if you're eating right away, make the crumbles, just put them into the sauce, stir it up, add your almond parm or whatever comes next, and then put it right on your bun. That's the best way to have them. But they stay pretty well, I have to say. I mean, it's still
those crumbles hold up a little bit.
They hold up.
Yeah, but you're right; they're not exactly
slightly different texture.
Yeah,
but they don't turn to mush. It doesn't turn to complete mush, thank God, because we use these a lot. But yeah, just keep them separate if you're making them early.
Delish.
That's a great thing to have for parties. It's going to come out really well.
Yeah. So the Mediterranean fries with the light and lemony tahini dipping sauce. So another fry, and I know a lot of people had said, like, I know, and I am always hesitant to say complaint, but one of the biggest feedbacks as we get is that it's a lot of main. So I know a lot of people are asking for desserts, more sides. So we're trying to kind of incorporate more sides into this as well. Like those Greek fries, for instance, can be a side or it could be a main. Like
that's what I wanted to say. Exactly.
But in the end, you can split that up with people and have that on the side of something. I'm not a big fan of just eating fries as a main like this. So this would be a side. But I mean, the idea is we want to try and kind of incorporate more and more kind of sides, some desserts as well. Some desserts will be coming, but yeah, these are good. I think the spices are good. It's a good amount of spice on them. I don't think they're super overpowering. I'm always concerned, like, it's like, oh, it's all, because I've done that too. Either had them out or I got myself where they're just over seasoned, and it's just like, oh man, especially with salt.
Too much, yeah.
If you're eating out and you get seasoned fries, a lot of times it's half salt, half seasoning. But either way, you can adjust them as you see fit. But I would always try it the first way. We try not to add a ton of salt, right out of the gate. But again, I think here with that, just that combination of that lightly seasoned and then adding that tahini sauce on there. I don't know. I love that tahini sauce. I could put it on a lot. I had it on a baked potato the other night again, but yeah, just those fries when they're crispy and it has a little seasoning, and then you dip them in that sauce.
Tahini is like cools it off. That cooling sauce is really nice with that smoky spices on the fries.
It's another great combo, but yeah, you could have them on. You could have this with ketchup. You could have it with the tahini sauce. I actually did both because I had both made, so I was like going to have a little tahini and then a little bit of ketchup on there too. So I will do a combo mix with the sauces. Being careful not to actually mix the sauces together or double dip, but yeah, it was actually good with both.
So the spice combo is garam masala, curry powder. Those aren't actually Mediterranean. I think those are more Middle Eastern, but that's okay. The sumac, though, grows in southern Italy. I wrote this in the meal prep notes. So that kind of makes them more Mediterranean. But if you haven't had them, you can find garam masala anywhere in the spice aisle. It's like an Indian spice. It's just, I don't even know how you'd explain the flavor if you haven't had it. It's just good. It's just like a deep spice, kind of smoky. And then curry powder, you can get that anywhere. And then sumac, that's sort of the little bit of the wild card, but you could probably find that in most grocery stores, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem getting it here. At both of my my local stores carry it here. I know you said you were at a store and they didn't have it. Spices are weird just because I have two local grocery stores that I go to. One has a pretty narrow spice department, and the other one has a pretty large spice, aisle section, I guess, not department.
Yeah.
So it was in both, there. So I'm like, okay, when I find it in both, especially on the
Yeah.
smaller one, I always feel like, well, that should be pretty readily available then if we have it here. And I do see some random stuff in there sometimes, but yeah, sumac was something I never really used before. I know, like when you go into like I don't know. I buy falafel sometimes at that place we were talking about earlier, and
Mhm.
if you buy hummus, they sprinkle that on top. They sprinkle that sumac
Pretty,
on top.
yeah.
And I asked one time, what is that? Like they sprinkle on top. I wasn't sure, so he told me. So I got some. I'm like, well, I could sprinkle in our hummus at home, so I do that a lot too. But it's a strange spice. I mean, it's not super flavorful, but it has like a little bit of a vinegary taste too. It has like a little bit of a zing to it, which I
Like
like.
lemony.
Yeah, so I do add that. I do add it on the top of stuff. So if we have hummus, sometimes I'll sprinkle it. We'll eat. I'll sprinkle a little bit more on top as well as we
Yeah, I
go.
did not have this, and I didn't really know about. I mean, I've heard of it, but I didn't really ever use it before. And so again, when he used it, we said this last time. We're just trying to use new things, so we all become more familiar with new spices and new flavors. And the more we add, the better. And if it's easy to find, why not add it and try it? And if you can find it, we just don't want to add crazy things that are super hard to find because we already have a few that you have to maybe order on Amazon. And we're just trying to add to our food and enhance the flavors. So there are a couple of things like the Himalayan black salt that might be tricky to find. You might have to order that on Amazon, not for this recipe, but that's for like the eggy flavor for like our egg salad or what's the other egg dish we just made?
Potato salad.
The potato salad. Yeah, so that's one thing I cannot find in a store, but I order an Amazon bag. It's this big and it lasts me for years. The other one is dulse flakes. Now you could either put dulse flakes or kelp in the Caesar salad. That's like a seaweed that gives it a little bit of a fishy flavor that you might like an anchovy flavor in a Caesar salad or a Caesar salad dressing. I can't find that anywhere. I have to order it. So there's a handful of things that you might not be able to find, and they're not necessary for you to find or to add, but we know they're going to enhance it. So we want to offer it to you if you want to search them out. This is kind of one of those things, but I think Phil said it's easy to find. And then when I did research, it said you can get it at Walmart, at Publix, at Kroger's. It said Jewel everywhere. I went to Whole Foods and I couldn't find it and I didn't get it. So I didn't make it with the sumac. They came out great, but I do know the flavor because I've had it before. But I feel like you could, if you can't find it, you could just leave it out. They're still going to be great.
Yeah,
but I would try to find it because, again, a new spice, if it's easy to find, try it. He loves it.
And as we create meals, I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to my spice cabinet and what do I have on hand? What did I have to buy for other things?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to add into things is spices that I already have. And you can't revolve all your recipes on these very basic spices. That's like saying like, hey, I want to paint a picture, but I'm only going to use these 4 colors because that makes it easy. Well, you're going to get a 4-color painting. Well, if you can't blend. But still, actually, if you get the 3 primaries, you should get every color. Maybe that's a bad example.
You're covered.
But the point is we want to be able to expand the menu, so you can't just use all these things. And if it is too much for you sometimes, or you can't get it, there might be not every recipe is going to be for every person either. Like we're trying to make sure these are broad. Some people don't like tofu and won't eat any tofu dishes. Well, it's not like we're going to not make anything with tofu because a handful of people can't. The idea is to have a very wide range of meals and ethnic foods and things like that is going to appeal to a lot of people here. So
yeah,
try to do what we can.
Yeah, and I like the fact that I didn't add it because I know they're really good without it, but I can only imagine it gives them a punch, like a nice lemony bright punch. So I'm going to search that out and find some. I only went to one store, so. Okay, now we're on to my.
Well, there's just the sauce with a little
favorite.
sprinkle of sumac on top.
Oh, there's the sumac, yeah.
And the catsup. Back to ketchup.
Okay, so we finally have an oil-free, sugar-free ketchup. Who's excited? I am.
We are.
I have not had one that is this delicious. I mean, they all have sugar, don't they? I don't know. I haven't had one without sugar.
Yeah, I believe so.
I love ketchup. I really, really, really love ketchup. I'm just one of those ketchup people. And I try to avoid it because first of all, I don't want the high fructose corn syrup at all. So we only buy the one with sugar in it. I don't eat it a lot, but if I'm having, burgers and fries, 4th of July or whatever, I will have ketchup. and I'll eat the sugar. But now we don't have to. We have our own. And it's oil-free, it's sugar-free. There's a handful of ingredients. It is so good. Look at that. It's thick. It's just zesty. It's really good. So I would suggest trying it. Just take a little time, make your own ketchup, and
It'll keep for a week, at least in the fridge. I made a double
yeah.
batch as we were making it, and I mean it kept fine.
Yeah, I made it twice, and well, we ate it too fast to know, but
And I mean that's another thing too, is you're not making like 64 ounces of ketchup.
right.
You're making enough for a meal or 2 meals.
Well, there's no preservatives in it, right? So that's what it is. It's fresh. It's going to go faster, but you're going to eat it because it's so delicious.
Yeah, it was good, and I got to say, like even the kids ate it; they loved it.
Yeah,
Ketchup's a tricky thing, because even growing up, it's like we had like one ketchup we liked, and then like you'd get a different brand and be like, this is
that's
terrible.
not ketchup.
But yeah, even now, yeah, my wife doesn't like to eat it because it has all that corn syrup. And the kids, she does buy one. She found one that had no sugar in it.
Really?
I didn't care for it. It was not good.
See?
but
It doesn't
but
have
she,
any
but
sweetness.
she eats it because it doesn't have that stuff in it. But it's like, I don't know. If I'm not enjoying it, I'd rather just not eat it then. Like I'd rather have no ketchup than something. Why put it down if I don't like it?
Right. And this is a great thing to have for summer with the barbecues coming up. You have your own ketchup. You can put it on, whatever, your veggie burgers, if you're going to have burgers, or veggie dogs or fries or whatever you put ketchup on. I love it. So good. That's exciting.
Delish.
That's exciting. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope we hear about it.
Yeah, give it a try. And it's one of those things where it's like, well, if I have ketchup, I'll just use it rather than make my own. Barbecue sauce was the same thing. I always thought I had.
Hi. Come on in and say hi. Oops. Sorry. Here's my
Say
little
hi
babe.
to hundreds of fans.
Here's my little babe.
Yeah.
You can't see her face, can you? Oh my God.
She's cut off at the eye line.
I
used to say the same thing about barbecue sauce. It's like, well, I'll just buy the bottled one. It has some sugar, but I got to say, we've tried a ton of barbecue sauce, and I just couldn't stand. I mean, same thing. It's just like you try them, and they're just not good. And it's like, geez, I just wasted $6 or $7.
I know.
I can't try them at the store, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm not buying like, I don't know, if you buy
just winging it.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, now there's, gourmet and this and that, and smoky and sweet and sassy and this and that. It's just like, if I could make it, I mean, in our barbecue, I got to say, and I'm always hesitant just to pat ourselves on the back, but it's one of those things where it's like, man, that is so good. It's better than anything I've had. And I'm sure there's better barbecue sauces out there. I'm not saying this is the best one ever, but man, the ones I tasted at the store, and it's how much money did I waste trying to find a good sauce? And then usually we'll just stick with that one. And that's the only one we ever have. And then after a while, it's just like, that is not good. It's not good for you. It's like, let's get rid of it. But yeah, ketchup is the same thing. It's like, it doesn't take that long. It's like, it takes 15 minutes to whip up a ketchup and then just let it cool.
But just like you were saying, people do get stuck on those name brands, like, oh, I'm a Heinz ketchup eater and I can't have anything but Heinz, or, just whatever it is like that. They get kind of stuck in their heads that like they have to have that. But just like anything, if you start eating this way and you start trying it and you don't have all that extra stuff, just like peanut butter, we grind our own peanut butter. It's fresh. It's just peanuts. There's nothing added. And that's what we eat. And that's what we're used to. I would never open a jar of Jif with all the sugar in it. And it would be way too sweet for me. Mm-hmm. And it's not just me. It's like once your taste buds change and you get used to eating it, that tastes better. I would not want a piece of Wonder Bread right now. I grew up on this stuff. The white, fluffy Wonder Bread with mayo and salami. I think that's what
or the generic Jewel knockoff.
Probably that. But would you rather have that or a nice Ezekiel, like grainy, sprouted, yummy? It's like so good. And you really get used to those flavors. It's like you don't want that stuff. And now people who are coming into the site now in the Kickstart who are saying, oh, I'm so addicted to fast food. I don't know how I'll live without it. Once you start eating this way, your palate changes really quickly and you start craving this food. You got to give it a rest, get the oil and animal products off your palate, off your plate. Give your palate a chance to just eat these vegetables and plant foods and, fresher, cleaner foods and spices. And then you'll see you will not be craving that white, fluffy buns with butter and oil and all that stuff, you'll start to crave, oh, I do like the Ezekiel bread. Oh, I like this, ground peanut butter that I ground myself. It has no sugar in it. Now my tongue's getting used to no sugar. Now a blueberry tastes sweet to me. I didn't even taste a blueberry before because I was eating all this high fructose candy or whatever. I'm just making this stuff up, but you know what I'm saying? It's like your palate will change. And I know the panicky feeling when you first start. It's kind of scary. It's like, I'm giving it all up to eat all this healthy stuff. Well, yeah, it's all healthy stuff, but it's all super delicious. That's why we get so excited about a ketchup, because we're not eating all those additives. We're not eating all that sugar. Okay, let's wrap it up. Phil's cutting me off here.
All righty. Well, don't forget to, I know you got a lot to do. She got a pack.
I do. I'm leaving tomorrow.
Vacation. We got stuff to do still. But don't forget about the podcast. We just recorded a great one, so listen to it. You can check us out on really anywhere, I believe, now that you download podcasts. If you find one that we're not on, let me know, and we'll get on there as well. But
I say something. I don't think I told the group. I said it in the podcast, but I'm going to Puerto Rico tomorrow with my daughter and my friend and her daughter, and I'm super excited. This was planned way before COVID. We finally have a chance to go. Girls trip for a week. It's a graduation present for my daughter who graduated high school 3 years ago. But we're finally going. I'm super excited. So I'm planning on doing like a plant-based travel log while I'm there, planning on it. I hope I can stick to it. But I'm obviously eating plant-based the whole time. I think there's a lot of meat and I don't know what's in, I've not been to Puerto Rico. I'm sure the food is delicious, but from everything I read, it's a lot of meat. I'm sure I'll be totally fine. But it would be fun to do a little travel log just so you can see like how I eat when I'm traveling. So we'll see how it goes.
We talk more about it on the podcast as well. So catch that on Tuesday.
Catch that on Tuesday.
We'll get a lowdown, and then in the middle of the week, we'll be hopefully Judi be checking in and giving us some updates of what's going on. With the trip. Very exciting stuff. Well, a very well earned little break away from things, right?
Aw, thanks, little bro.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see everyone next week or before. I'll do my check-in. Like I said, I'll check in on Monday with everybody, and everyone have a safe and happy weekend. And we'll talk to you everyone soon.
Bye-bye.